Bravo Naseite. I would like first to thank the organizer of the conference. It's so great, so big, so if we could get them a round of applause too. Thanks. So my name is Fabien Vauchelles. My enthusiasm to web scraping led me to explore this fascinating world of proxy and anti-bots. So it's really interesting to dive into how they work, how they try to catch you, and how you can bypass them. And I'm also the creator of Scrapoxy. So what's Scrapoxy about? It's a free and open source project that I'm working 100% of my time on that. So it manages route traffic through proxy services. You can set up thousands of proxies in the world. So I will demo you that after. It supports a lot of cloud provider proxy services, and we will see that. But before we start, I would like to introduce you Isabella. So Isabella is a final year student in IT school. She has a brilliant mind, a lot of energy, and a thirst of traveling. Every year, she embarks for a 1-month backpacking journey to a random country. But here is a twist. This level of organization consumes her entire year in preparation for just 1 month of traveling. So she couldn't help but notice there is a gap in the markets. Why wasn't there such a tool in a digital AI world pumped with AI everywhere? It could be her ticket into her successful business. But she realized to do that she needs a vast amount of data. And this vast amount of data will train her large language model to create and curate her ultimate trips. But also Isabella is very careful about her approach to business. She knows that it's important to not overwhelm the website by making too many requests too quickly. Also, Isabella takes care about privacy. She collects only public data like reviewing, doesn't take any private data like personal names. Also, she doesn't sign the terms and conditions, she doesn't log into the website, so she is free from every contact. So now that everything okay, I can show you how Isabella can take care about that, and I will show you the website she decided to collect the data from. So let me introduce you trickreview.com. So what's Tricky Review all about? Tricky Review is your go-to spot to find any accommodation in cities that you want to explore. So imagine that you want to find accommodation in Paris. You click on search button, you get a list of Paris. So if Isabella is dreaming about Paris, she clicks on the search button and she will get 50 accommodations here. And if she clicks on one accommodation, she will get about the names, contact hotel, address, description, and also she will get the review. Isabella is interested into review. It is all about analyzing those reviews to understand what customers think about the hotel, and with large language model, we can extract the main feeling or issue of the hotels. Also, wait, let me show you. The website is super secure. I've introduced different levels of protection on the website, and Isabella needs to bypass them one by one. You remember that, that's perfect. So let's continue. So if I'm going to the home page, if I'm opening here the Chrome Inspector, and going on the Network Inspector, filtering on Doc, click on Preserve Log. So if I'm refreshing, how we will see the different requests and we will understand how the website is structured. So first, I've got the home page. Okay. So if I want to collect, I need to go to the home page. When I'm clicking on the search button here, I'm looking on city, on the different accommodation in Paris. Perfect. And if I'm clicking on one hotel, so I've got the UUID of the hotel here, and I can get the content. So here it's pure HTML, and if I'm looking into the HTML, I can find somewhere here at the end, the review. So it's a description here and the review. Yeah. So Isabella clearly doesn't want to do that manually. She doesn't want to do HTTP requests, do the CSS parsing, do the retry, manage concurrency. So she will use a framework. So for that, I will introduce you a framework known as Scrapy. Who knows Scrapy? Some of you? No? Okay, some of them. So what's Scrapy all about? So Scrapy is a very big framework on scraping. So I've got a lot of friends moving to Python just because Scrapy exists. It's maintained by an open source community with a lot of plugins doing all the retry of requests, the parsing, everything. So if you want to do web scraping at scale, you can use Scrapy. So how Scrapy works? Scrapy runs spiders. A spider handles all the logic to collect information on a website. So here how it works. So the logic is inside the Python class, a spiders. We have different methods. There is a name of the spider here. We have the first method, start request, which describes all the URLs that you want to collect. When Scrapy engine gets the answer here, he will call the method callback parse and do all the CSS parser. So all the magic is here. Here we are getting the names. So if here I show you the same one, but a real class, so it's the same functions. So as you can see, you have the start request. So I'm going to the home page. After the home page, I'm asking all the city. So when I've got all the list of city, I'm handling two things. First, paginations. So it's like flipping the page of catalogs. And after, also, I'm collecting the link of hotels. And then when Scrapy engine got the hotel answers, it calls the parse hotel method, and I'm doing all the parsing. So here, I'm extracting names, email, review. So let's run that for Isabella. So now I'm launching my spiders, connecting to the website, gathering every information, and I think we will get 50 items. Also, Scrapy is able to send that in a structured way. So I extract quickly in a structured way. In a CSV file, I've got the name, email, and review. So that's perfect. But that's not the real world. When Isabella starts to go to a website, she will get perhaps what will happen on level 2. So if I'm starting again the spider here, these times I've got another error, which is unknown browsers. And the unknown browser error is about Scrapy. It's because when Scrapy is connecting to the website, it's sending a lot of headers which can identify Scrapy. And sometimes these headers are required. So here we are sending the default header, which is user agents Scrapy. And the website says, no, you not pass. So we have to change that. But which value should I use? So let's get back to the Tricky Review website, going to this request, going to the headers. So I'm on the response header, I need the request headers, and here at the bottom, there is the user agents, Mozilla Chrome. I will use that one. But I need additional headers. The user agents is not sufficient. So I need also additional header to confirm this kind of security headers. So I need this one, set CHUA, mobile and platforms. So let's get back to my spiders. So if I'm here adding the user agents, I can do that here. Damn, I'm loving copilots. So it's a Mozilla on Windows, perfect, and perhaps is able to complete that. Yep. And I need the other one, ch platforms, Windows. So now that I've got everything, let's run again the spider, and now we pass. So that's cool for Isabella, and she's get her 50 items. So now let's jump to a more complex situations. So imagine that we are going to the next level, we run again, and now we collect a little set of items, but I've got a lot of error. Retrying 429 error, HTTP header, too many requests, too many requests, too many requests. It is because I'm doing all the requests from my laptop, from one server. So I'm using only one IP address. So what should I use? Do you know? Proxy. You're the best. So what is a proxy? A proxy is a system which will relay your request between the spider and the servers. So instead of a server seeing one IP address sending 100 or million of requests, he will send a lot of IP addresses sending a few requests. So you will bypass the rate limit stuff. And there is plenty type for proxy. First type for proxy is data center proxy. So basically, it's virtual machine on GCP, Azure, AWS, running a software, running the request. It's fast, cheap, and reliable. It's serious and bypass perhaps 80% of protections. But sometimes it is blocked. It is because there is an issue with the IP address. The IP address of the virtual machine comes from an IP range, and this IP range is bought by the cloud providers and associated to an autonomous system number. And the autonomous system number can be named Amazon, Microsoft, or whatever. So there is database on internet which links IP and autonomous system numbers. So you can clearly identify them. So there is a trick. And this trick is called ISP proxy. ISP stands for Internet Service Provider Proxy. So it's kind of data center proxy, but instead of using the IP address of the data center, you can bring an IP address to a data center. You're not forced to use the IP address of Amazon or whatever. You can bring your own IP address. And this kind of provider just rent IP address from mobile provider, internet box providers, and the virtual machine will use one of the IP from this IP range. And clearly, Isabella will be mixed with mobile, with laptops, whatever, and it's more difficult for anti-bot to detectors. And there is a last type of proxy type. This last type is known as residential proxy. So what is residential proxy? So it's real IP address from real laptop, my laptop, from my mobile phone. So how can it happen? Imagine that you're a developer, you're building an application, and you want to monetize it to earn some money. What you will do, you have three solutions. First one is to sell subscriptions. So an annual subscription, a monthly subscriptions, and you unlock some features. Another possibility is to add advertising. So you have an ad at the bottom of the application, or you push a video and force the user to see it, and feature will be unlocked. And there is a last type of solutions, which are sharing the bandwidth. You can do that, of course, with the user agreements. And that's where residential IP address came from. So let me show you how we can do that with Scrapoxy. So let's start Scrapoxy. So it's very easy to start. It's just a Docker line. You start it, Scrapoxy run, and everything is OK. Now I can go to Scrapoxy UI. Yeah. So just log in. So I've got a very secure credential, which is admin password, as usual. And Scrapoxy already has a project. If I'm clicking on this project, I can get and add a lot of connectors. So there is data center connector, proxy service connector, or whatever. You plug what you have. Imagine that I want to plug AWS connector. I just have to have my credentials. In 2 minutes, you get that. And Scrapoxy will handle installation, orchestration. I will show you. So let's start some address proxy. So I already had a connector. If I'm starting the connector, so I will show you, this is my console of AWS. I don't have instance. I just refresh. I've got 10 instances just running. If I'm clicking again, they are ready. Less than 10 seconds. And if I'm going back to Scrapoxy, getting the list of proxy, what you can see is I've got a lot of proxy here, so the same one. So Scrapoxy just ordered to AWS to start that. He orchestrates that. I've got a lot of metrics, traffic received, number of requests, and the IP address. And here we are based in Dublin. I can confirm that with the map. So all proxy are in the Dublin data centers. That's fine. Now we can plug that to my spiders. So what I will do, I will copy paste this snippet and show you. So I'm just adding one middleware. There is only two. I will replace this one. So middleware is some software in Scrapy just handling the traffic. And the traffic will be routed to Scrapoxy. So now you see there is Scrapoxy and some credentials. So now if I'm running that, all the traffic from Scrapy is routed to Scrapoxy. Scrapoxy route to AWS, go to the website, bypass the rate limit protections, and yes, I've got my 50 items. So that's first protection that you can have on website. But clearly, sometimes it can be more complex. So let's jump to the level 4. And Isabella always encounters this kind of issue. So here, if I'm starting again these spiders, now I've got a big error, which is data center are forbidden. It's because the IP address of AWS was just detected. So if you check here, the ASN Amazon 02 is blacklisted. So I cannot use this kind of IP anymore. What I will do, I will add more serious proxy. So let's use proxy from Smart Proxy, one of the biggest providers. So they are Lithuanian. And I will plug them to Scrapoxy. I already add some credentials here, and I will add the connectors. So first, I will stop this one, because I'm poor open source guy, and I don't want to pay. And I will create one here. So I will add 10 proxy in the US, and that's it if I'm running the connector. Perfect. Now, if I'm checking on the proxy list, so as you can see, Scrapoxy has to Amazon to stop the instance. If I'm going to the instance list here, you can see they are shutting down, so I won't pay for that. And Scrapoxy handles this kind of logic, so you just pay when you collect data. So now, if I'm going back to Scrapoxy UI, I've got a bunch of US proxy, and you can saw them here. And as you see, I didn't touch anything in my spider, so if Isabella is starting that again, now she's going to the US through Scrapoxy, and we are bypassing the data center protections. So as you see, I'm collecting all items, and I will get my 50 item at the end just here. So that's cool. But sometimes on commercial websites, you can have more advanced protections. So if I'm jumping to level 6, I will jump this one. So let's start again. This time, I've got a big error. No fingerprint. So what is all about? Let me show you on the real website. So if I'm going to the website, stopping the filter here, having all the requests, going on level 6. Perfect. So as you can see, the browser is collecting a lot of information, HTML, images, CSS, JavaScript, a lot of GET requests to retrieve content. But also, the browser is sending requests with POST request. And not only one, 2 times, 3 times at regular interval, the browser is sending information to the web server. So what is inside this request? So if I'm checking the payload, we are sending the platform, the time zone, and the real user agents. So I'm executing JavaScript to collect this real information. I cannot fake it with Scrapy. I need to execute JavaScript and send to the server. If I'm not doing that, the website will block me. So I cannot rely solely on Scrapy. I need something which starts a browser, connect and execute JavaScript, and perhaps which is controlled by Scrapy. So let me show you one framework that we can use. And this framework is Playwright. Who knows Playwright? I think a lot of you. So Playwright is an end-to-end framework, like Puppeteer, Selenium. You can use them. But most end-to-end front-end framework can be used for web scraping. And it's 40% of the usage, to be honest. So Playwright can start Chrome, Firefox, Edge, can be controlled by Scrapy, is maintained by Microsoft, and it is open source. So let's plug that to Scrapy. So I will show you how we can do that. So I already have one Spider plug with Playwright. It's very close to the previous one. So as you can see, I've got the start request. So I'm going to the home page. When I've got the home page, I just retrieving the list of city, get the list of hotels, doing the paginations, getting the hotel links, and doing all the parsing and extracting with CSS parser, hotel name, email, review. Quite the same. Good for you? Yeah, cool. But the only difference is the download handler. So it's the way that Scrapy connects to the website. Instead of using the default handler, so doing a basic HTTP request, I will ask to Playwright to open the browser and to get the request through the browsers. So let's do that here. So now, Scrapy asks to Playwright to open the browser. So no, it's not this one. Yeah. Perfect. Scrapy asks Playwright to open the browser. The browser will open, connecting to the home page, getting the JavaScript, executing the JavaScript, sending the fingerprint. We are granted, and now we can collect every page one by one. So this time it's 4x4. It's a little bit slower. I just keep the rendering because we don't need that. Otherwise, we will be here tomorrow. And after that, clearly, I will get all the 50 items. But here, I'm bypassing clearly the protection, and that's what Isabella wants. And here, I've got the 50 items. But the issue is we are not doing, the antibot is not doing real stuff with the fingerprint. The antibot is just collecting the fingerprint. Most of the time, it uses more advanced stuff. So let's jump to level 7s. I forgot to use one of the advanced functions in Scrapoxy, which is on the settings. If I'm clicking, keep the same proxy. So Scrapoxy is smart enough to reuse the same proxy for the same browser sessions. So all the traffic goes through the same IP. Of course, if you are connecting to a website, having the HTML going from here, the CSS from Spain, the JavaScript from Germany, clearly it's a red flag. So I need to ask the Scrapoxy to track that. So now let's run that again on level 7 here. And if I'm running that again, so Scrappy asks Playwright to open the browser. So browser open, come to the home page, get the fingerprint, send the fingerprint, and here I've got another error which is no fingerprint, so let me rerun again. That's the beauty of antibots. They are very strong. Yeah. So second time it works. Not really, to be honest. So this time the antibot is checking consistency. So when the fingerprint is collected by the antibot. It just check what you send. And here we are saying we are in Europe. Okay, that's fine. But the IP address is in the US. So it's difficult. You must have a VPN or something, perhaps using some proxy, and clearly I'm detected here. So what I need to do is to align the browser time zone and the IP. So I will simply change the time zone of the browser here. Here, I will set time zone ID. I will set to America, Chicago. Yep. And when I'm starting that again, so this time Scrappy has to Playwright to open the browser. The browser is opening, going to the home page, collecting information about the time zone, which is in America, sending that to the server. And this time, I'm bypassing the protections. So I will stop there. No need to go to further. Perfect. So, thank you very much. That's all for me. Download Scrapoxy. If you're doing web scraping, if you like this talk, add me a GitHub star. It helped me a lot during the open source developments. And I've got some cool sticker for you if you'd like, so just come after us. Do we have time for questions? Yeah, okay. Let's do that.
I'm sorry, I forgot my prop. You got your prop with the water, I forgot my microphone. I was too eager to come and ask what is, I guess, on everybody's mind. Are there any legal considerations that we should take in account when considering?
Yeah, you know, you can do that, but
I mean, this is the Balkans.
Oh, no, this one, not this one. Yeah, this one. If you follow this path, it's legal. Yeah. There is a big lobby from anti-bot system, also big monopoly company to say, no, you cannot collect my data. But Google is coming to your website every morning. So, yeah, you know the tricks.
Okay. So what are some of the scalability challenges you faced while using Scrapoxy in large-scale scraping operations?
Yeah, the Scrapoxy is handling all the logic on the proxy side. And as you've seen before, there is also the logic on the browser side. And the difficulty is to align the whole stack, so having a consistent stack. And that's tricks that Antibot checks deeply to check if there is some inconsistency somewhere. They are not banning you, obviously. It's a score that they build. We call that the reputation score. And perhaps you have a bad time zone, you have a wrong navigator between your TLS fingerprint and something. You add that, you add that, you add that. At the end, you will get banned or they send you a captcha.
If Isabel likes to travel so much, why does she have to use a proxy? I'm sorry, that was not a question. It was not a real question. If we have some other questions from the audience, feel free to ask them verbally.
Yep.
Yes, please.
Yes, so the question is there any other level other than CAPTCHA that you need to bypass? Now one of the biggest level is also on the encryption part, so it's called the TLS fingerprint. You know when you use SSL, you have a secure lock when you go on website. It's 99% of the website, and it's by default now. The thing is, when you connect to a website, if I'm quickly explaining you, you send a lot of information of the web server to negotiate the protocol of encryptions. So you say, okay, I'm supporting AES 256, I'm supporting this protocol plus option, and every browser has a different list of protocols. So you can detect if it's a Windows browser by checking this kind of list. So now Chrome is adding also randomization on this part because it's not secure, but you can detect also the browser. So if your with JavaScript, you detect that you have a Linux browser, and the TLS part shows you that it's a Linux stuff, it's inconsistent, and you're directly blocked. Also about CAPTCHA, that's a good question. There is AI CAPTCHA solver.
Any other questions? Yes, please.
Thank you for your presentation. The question that I have is a little bit out of the scope of Scrapoxy, but how do you deal with the constantly changing HTML? For example, LinkedIn tends to change the structure of the HTML, and how would you handle that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So how can we handle all change that frequently happens on the website? So yes, they use this kind of trick to force scraper to change and to block them. So there is different technique. First one, you try to have your XPath or CSS selector more resistance, more efficient. So you can do that. You can bypass, because sometimes you are able to collect the different versions of LinkedIn or whatever, and you can find the difference, and you find a XPath which can match for both versions of the website. First solutions. Second, now you have a team which will handle that. That's what most companies doing. So every time there is a change, they update the parsers, the spiders. And the third solution, which is coming nowadays, it's an AI parser using LLM. So they are building very, very effective stuff which are resistant to change of HTML. So you just say, please extract me the price, the image link, and perhaps this information, and you get that. And if it's not working, the LLM is able to regenerate the code of the spiders.
Some other questions?
Last question? No? Enjoy that and get your sticker. Thank you very much.